You're listening to Healing Voices Project, where we share stories and the latest information from people who fight addiction every day. I'm Mike Torville, your host and author of Voices from the Fallen. Thank you for listening, for following, and most of all, for sharing with people you care about. Make your voice count too. Hello everybody, Mike Torville here from Healing Voices Project. Today we're on site at the Michael J. Diaz Foundation, and more specifically at Michael's house at Christian and Brian's house on Mill Street in Springfield. And right now we're going to speak with David Baker, who is a house liaison and on the board of directors at the Michael J. Diaz Foundation. David, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, glad to have you.
All right.
So I know you are a house liaison and on the board of directors for Michael J. Diaz, as we mentioned. How long have you been involved with Michael's house?
Early 2020.
Early 2020. Okay.
Yeah, maybe late 2019.
Early 2020 is when the pandemic started.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right around there. I think it was a little bit. It was a little bit before the pandemic started.
Okay, so once you hit the ground, it was like, whoa, what happened here?
Well, no, then we hit the brakes.
Yes.
Then I was like, let's get it moving.
Come on.
Yeah.
Then it took 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's go back before that, because we're going to talk about what you do and Michael's house and all that happens here. But a little bit about your history, your background, and what led you to here, to where you are now.
So my background is I grew up right here in Springfield, Forest Park area. Grew up around here and had my struggles with addiction and alcoholism and incarceration and programs and rehabs and all that fun stuff. And I got sober. And what led me here actually was, the name of the house is Christian and Brian's house.
Yes.
Christian Diaz, he was one of my good friends growing up. And Brian Metzger also. I knew him, but I didn't know him as well as Christian. And actually, Christian's twin brother, Antoine, is probably one of my best friends in the world. And what happened is when Antoine's twin brother passed away, he really wanted to do something. So we actually started a different nonprofit, and we started, hitting the ground running. We realized that we didn't have everything in motion that we needed to actually really be able to open up a house. And fortunately, the folks from Michael J. Diaz Foundation, they had all of the structure, they had everything ready to go, and we talked to them, and we were able to get on their board, and they really helped us out a lot with being able to open up this house.
Wow.
And so I got on here because I have my struggles with addiction also, and because those two guys whose pictures are on the wall, those are my buddies, man. Those are my friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you have a deeper meaning,
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those guys, they meant a lot to me, and we want to do whatever we can to try to help guys so that other families don't have to go through the same thing, so that other kids don't have to lose their fathers, so other mothers don't have to lose their sons. And we try to do the best we can to do that, yeah.
Yeah. And you yourself have gone through your own struggles.
Oh, yeah.
Going back. So how did things get started for you?
So like I said, I grew up here in Springfield, Forest Park area. I had everything I needed growing up, everything to all outward appearances. I was a normal, well-rounded kid, private school, good education, father, small business owner. And, he, at one point, probably 14 years old, started playing around, smoke a little bit of weed, drink a little bit of beer, and progressed from there, man. Progressed from there. Ended up dropping out of high school, ended up, starting to get arrested.
You dropped out of high school because of drinking too much?
Oh, yeah.
Or just, yeah.
Yeah, my alcoholism. So as soon as I picked up a drink, all of a sudden my whole thought process changed from I'm going to be a good student, I'm going to get good grades, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, to I want to gravitate and hang around with guys in my neighborhood who are skipping school, going to keg parties, robbing, stealing, running from the cops, and doing all this other type of stuff. So my whole thought process, it's like a switch flipped. Like, here we go, let's do this. And essentially my whole life gravitated towards that. And like I said, my father, small business, subcontractor, blue collar, kind of embraced the whole work hard, play hard, thing where it's like I'm gonna go to work and I'm gonna party like a rock star.
So you had a good family, good support system.
Yeah.
Despite all that, you took it to a different path.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure did.
Where did that drinking progress? I mean, into drugs or just?
Oh yeah,
drinking?
progressing to drugs. I remember. So when I first started drinking, it was around the mid to late '90s, and OxyContins were just coming around. A lot of us really didn't even know what those were at that point. There was a show that was on about the beginning of OxyContin,
Right.
And some of the stuff they were saying. I remember people telling us the same thing, like, "Oh, it's not addictive. It's not this. It's not that," And so started playing around with that a little bit. Saw some of my friends getting physically addicted to them, and I didn't for a while. And then eventually I did. Then came the detoxes.
Well, you just said something pretty simple. You didn't, and then you did.
And then I did.
How easy is that to happen?
It happens.
And that's an inevitable path
And-
that you get to.
And
Yeah.
that's what happened in my mind. I didn't think it would ever happen to me.
Right, of course.
I'm not like you guys.
Right.
I'm different.
I can handle this.
I'm
yeah.
the exception to the rule.
Mhm.
I think that's a lot of things that a lot of people in recovery have. We have that idea that we are different. We're not the same as everybody else. And
Yes.
I've got this figured
Even
out.
when you're young, you have this misguided confidence, right?
Sure.
That everything's just going to be fine.
Everything's going to be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
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 Yep.
And then it wasn't.
Then it wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
So you started Oxy. You were
Yeah.
drinking still. Drinking went through all of this.
Yes.
right?
Oh, yeah. Alcohol was my first love.
Did the drugs progress into something heavier?
Yeah, they progressed into, shooting heroin, shooting cocaine, so IV heroin and cocaine use, and multiple detoxes, and incarceration, and all that fun stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get into the incarceration? I mean, did you get caught?
I got caught
Whoa.
with drugs. I got caught. Every time I've ever been arrested was directly related to my alcoholism. Directly related to my alcoholism and drug addiction. Whether I was robbing and stealing, or I got caught with stuff on me, or whatever it may be, it was directly related to that.
So you even resorted to robbing
Oh yeah.
robbing stores, people?
Stores. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of like a criminal with a conscience. I'm not going to rob the common man.
can be
but I'll steal from the
selective.
store. Yeah, I'll steal from the store.
Yeah. It won't hurt them.
Yeah, it won't hurt them. Yeah.
Sure it won't. Yeah.
Of course it won't. Yeah. Yeah.
So you ended up in jail.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
How did that go?
Actually, when I ended up getting incarcerated, I remember before I got locked up saying, all I really need to do is get this court stuff taken care of me and get some help. And there were some guys who were coming in there, and they were putting out a 12-step meeting, and eventually I went down there and I checked it out. I asked one of those guys to be my sponsor, and he said yes. Started taking me through the steps, page by page, line by line, and he really helped me develop a foundation. I did my first 3 steps while incarcerated, started writing a 4-step. I got paroled, continued writing a 4-step. I'm going to tell you, probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life was when I got out. I picked up the phone and I called one of those gentlemen. They came and they picked me up, and they brought me to a meeting, and they introduced me to what felt like 1,000 people. They got my phone number. I got their phone number. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a license. I didn't have money. I didn't have anything. But these guys picked me up every single day and brought me to meeting for the next 5.5 months.
Wow.
What happened, though, is I stopped doing what I was supposed to do. I stopped being honest. I stopped telling the truth. And I started keeping things to myself. And I started just being dishonest. And the thought of drinking started making sense to me again. See, my mind never tells me it's okay to shoot heroin. It never tells me it's okay to do cocaine. It never tells me any of that stuff. It tells me it's okay to have a couple drinks, because that's not as bad. So I go out and have
All
a
that
couple.
does is open up the door.
It opens up the door.
Yeah.
Opens up the door, because eventually a couple drinks isn't enough, and then 4 drinks isn't enough, and then a 6-pack, 12-pack, a liter of booze isn't enough, and I'm looking for something else. I'm looking for something else to make me feel okay on the inside. And I went back out, went on what I would consider the worst run of my life, and but for the grace of God, I made it back here, man. Made it back to a 12-step fellowship, and when I came back this time, I realized that there's no more putting my own twist on this thing. No more putting my own twist. It was I'm going to.
Because it wasn't working out too good.
No, 95% doesn't cut it. 95% may cut it in some aspects of life, but when it comes to recovery, you have to be all in. It's like, this is going to be a way of
whether
life.
Whether it's 1% or 5%, that opens the door and erases the rest of the 95.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So you had finally realized that you had to be 100% in,
100%.
or it wasn't going to work at all.
Wasn't going to work.
And you just did this on your own, or was there somebody instrumental in getting you there?
I had a lot of instrumental people in my life.
Yeah.
There was people that I had met in the rooms beforehand. There was, mother, father. There was a lot of people in my life who cared about me. And my sponsor says, guys who are living the way that you were living, to make a decision to go seek treatment again, that's not normal. Someone must have been praying for you.
Wow.
Somebody must have been praying for you, and there definitely was a lot of people who were praying for me. And one day it just made sense that, you know what, I can go back and get some help. And I walked into a detox and stopped caring about what everybody else thought, because that's one of the big thing anytime I got in recovery, or anytime just in life in general, it's that fear of the opinion of my peers. What are they going to think if they see me praying? What are they going to think if they see me actually taking this seriously? I wanted to be liked by them, but I had to realize that these guys were living the same life that I was living. I was in a detox with guys that I was in multiple detoxes with beforehand, same guys. And we were in a detox again. And I had an idea what I needed to do, and I knew what it was. And I started hitting my knees, begging God for help, begging God to put a sponsor in my life, and for His will, not mine, to be done.
Mm-hmm. And your peers, your new peers versus your old peers, because different group of people, you stopped caring about what your old peers thought.
Correct.
Because there's a big thing, because you could not continue to hang out with them. Otherwise, that influence would have tilted you back.
Correct. I mean, fortunately, a lot of my old peers, they're in recovery also with me now. So
okay.
That's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Yeah.
and through all of that, you said you knew Christian and you knew Brian.
Yes.
Let's talk about Christian and Brian and what your relationship was with them.
So Christian, like I said, we all grew up in Forest Park area. Christian I knew much more than Brian. Brian I knew just through mutual friends, through Christian and his twin brother. But me and Christian, we were pretty close for a while. 14, 15 years old, hanging out, keg parties, wiffle ball.
Yeah.
We worked with each other for a little while. He worked for my father for a little while, and we worked with each other for a little while. And we had a pretty good relationship, and I got clean and sober a little while before him, so I saw him coming in and out, struggling, coming in and out, and I saw that for a while, and Christian was the type of guy where when he walked in, he would like light up a room. He would light up a room, man. It's like you knew he was there. Didn't matter if he was clean for 2 days or he was clean for 2 months or however long it was. When he was there, you knew he was there, and he would try to help other guys, point him in the direction, like, here, you got to talk to this guy. You got to do this. He was always trying to help somebody out. He was always trying to be there for other people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And what changed?
I mean, it's just the unfortunate aspect of this disease, sometimes people pick up and they pass away. It's very unfortunate, It's just kind of what happens sometimes.
And also that helps to motivate you to keep going.
It reminds me why I do what I do.
Yeah, exactly. And what is your sober date?
March 21st, 2008.
2008.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're in 15 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, 15. Yeah,
it's just another day. I would say in my mind, I'm not more than 6 months sober, and I don't feel like I've been clean and sober for 15 years. In my mind, I just realized I have to do what I have to do today.
Yeah.
Today. And as long as I keep that, as long as I remember that I am one bad decision away from living in this house. I'm one bad decision away from being in a detox. I'm one bad decision away from overdosing and potentially dying. As long as I remember those things, then I keep doing what I have to do to move forward.
Is your full-time job?
What's that?
At Michael's
this is completely volunteer. This is not the completely 100% volunteer. As a board member, all the board members of the Michael J. Dias Foundation are non-paid positions.
Mm-hmm.
Liaison, obviously, well, again, I'm a board member, so it's a non-paid position. I do this to just be of service, try to help and give back.
Mm-hmm. And how many houses at the foundation? You got?
There's Michael's house.
Yep.
Christian Bryan's house. And then there's a next step house, which is Sean's place.
Okay.
Sean's place is for guys who have graduated from the houses, who are doing, what they need to do. They're showing that they've maintained some sobriety. They're moving forward in life. They're working. They're holding a job, and it's another place for them to live with other sober individuals until they're ready to move out on their own.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And how many people are at the houses?
How many are out there currently? I'm not sure. I believe Michael's house holds 14, and Christian Brian's house, I believe, holds 23. I don't think we ever actually fill it all the way up, though. Be a lot of guys in one house for.
So you have room.
Yeah. And Sean's place, I think it's maybe 8 or 9. I'm not exactly sure on the numbers. Yeah. That's more of a question for Adam.
Yeah, right. I just wondering, but you have,
I mean,
you're not at your capacity.
No, well, we're usually pretty close, but at the same time, you know, we want to bring in guys who want to do this thing, you know, not guys who are just looking for a roof over their head. I mean, there's places like that. We want guys who are willing to work. They want to move forward. They want to get sober. They want to stay sober. They want to work a program. They want to be able to achieve something, move forward in life. They're not just looking for a roof. And I mean, there's definitely places like that, but. Yeah.
I could just tell by your passion. Yeah. I think you're talking about Christian or Brian being a force of nature. I think you're a force of nature on your own. I can just see that.
Yeah. You know, this is like I said, you know, I really don't know exactly how many guys live in the house. My whole focus here is just trying to. I'm on the board. I'm a liaison. I'm just trying to be as much help as I can to these guys as possible. Yeah. Trying to be a service to them, you know. Try to make sure that the program that we're running is the most conducive for helping them to stay sober. Mm-hmm. That the guys in the house are doing all right. Where I can, you know, be a guy that they could talk to. I could be a guy that Adam and John could talk to, or Marvin can talk to. That I could be there for them, but also be there for the guys in the house too.
Yeah.
So just be a service.
And
man.
you come from a place where you've lived it.
Yeah.
You've lived it. You've seen it all around you. You've seen, you know, people recover. You've seen people pass away. Yeah. And you say you can relate to any aspect of this.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it's great having you on. I appreciate you sharing your story.
Yeah, no problem.
And appreciate everything you do, man.
No problem.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right. And thanks everybody for listening. David Baker from Michael's House of the Michael J. Diaz Foundation. Thanks for listening. See you all soon. Thanks.